This chart shows if you keep saving and investing and others don't, you don't separate incrementally in a way that you think. You separate exponentially. And by the way, the separation's going to get wider and wider and wider and wider. No matter how much you bash rich people, they're going to go wider, because while you were kicking it, wanting to work 3-4 days a week, they're doing 6 days a week because the Bible says take 1 day off. And a lot of people follow that guideline of just taking 1 day off. But everybody wants a 4-day work week. Don't be upset at the guy that's whooping your ass because he's working 6 days a week for 10 years and you work 4 days. Let's actually do the math.
Boom.
A guy works 6 days a week and only takes Sundays off, which is what I did. And it's till today, that's my philosophy, right? So a guy works 6 days and he takes 1 day off over a year span. What is it over a year? Over a year, you get 52 additional days a year, okay? Which is how many hours? Roughly 416 hours, because I'm doing 58 times 8. I think that's 416 hours, right? So that's 52 additional days you get per year. Do you realize within 6 years, within 7 years, you got 1 additional year?
Wow.
Within 10 years, you got years. Within 10 years, you got 520 additional days. You got 4,000 additional hours. Yeah, brother, we're not in the same league, homie.
Sorry.
We're not going to be competing in the same league. But let me give you the other part about this that's a problem. The other problem about this that's a problem. Who else is influencing this? Who else is influencing this? This can also only happen with the help of the government. The more money you print, the more money you put into the economy, you're thinking you're helping the low and middle income. You don't think the people at the top know who do. Like every time when they say, Jamie Dimon, they're going to put $2 trillion more into the economy. Jamie's like, hell yeah, because 40% of it's coming to Chase.
Yeah.
$800 billion is going to end up at whatever the number is going to be. In his mind, is like, that's great. Put $2 trillion. I'm going to get more on my balance sheet.
You're just going to print it and we'll end up
Do you really think these politicians that are sending money out to do this, you think they're sitting there saying, let's help the low and middle income? No. The money's going straight up to the top. We're going to show you a clip here in a minute. I'm going to get your feedback. But we're going to show you a clip here in a minute on what happened with Nancy Pelosi. You're going to be seeing what people are saying to him. How the hell did you get so rich? Because you got insider stuff, and other people are going to jail having done 1/10 of the crime you and your husband have committed. You're seeing the protesting taking place. But the low wage, the separation, the disparity, all of that is you need to start thinking long-term and not joining the camp that's convincing you to work fewer hours. Is you need to figure out a way to be more competitive in a marketplace. When I talked to comedian Kevin Hart, he says, you'd be surprised how hard I had to work. I worked my ass off, okay? You talk to Rogan, how hard that freaking guy works. People think Joe became Joe because Joe is just this talented, funny, likable guy. And he is all of that. But I know a lot of talented, funny, likable guys that don't work hard. This guy was diligent, focused, doing what he's doing, and then all of a sudden gets a few $100 million talking about, I got a few money. That's what he said. That doesn't happen by luck. You think he didn't work his ass off doing the UFC show here, traveling here, over there, over this? You think that schedule is 4 days a week? The people you admire, younger Gen Z generation, the people you admire, that you read about, that you watch on the sports, that you watch in movies, that you watch in, politics or military, you read about the heroes, were not 4-day-a-week people. They did not follow that. The heroes you admire didn't follow that strategy. That is purely a propaganda being sold by a bunch of people that went to universities that some professor told them to work 4 days a week, and they're coming out being, disciples of these prophets saying 4 days a week, not realizing they just ruined somebody's dreams by saying to work 4 days a week. That's my argument. You don't have to agree with it. You can bash it, trash it. I'm a big boy. I'm comfortable with it. Tom.
So everybody understands football. What if I told you, hey, you know what? You can play football against me, and I'll tell you what. I get 4 downs. You get 5 downs. That's 25%. That's an extra. Would you play that game? Yeah. Because even if I'm better than you as a team.
What an analogy.
You get another chance.
What an analogy.
And you keep coming. You would say, sure, I'll play that game. All day long, I'll play that game. And people, I don't think, really understand that. So the second thing is, set aside politics and write on a piece of paper, and don't talk to your friends and don't look at the internet. Write these words on a piece of paper. Why does that candidate want my vote? Why? And then the next one is, how are they scaring me? I heard a great talk that boiled down to those two things, the things coming from the top, PBD. Why does that candidate want my vote, and how are they trying to scare me? Not with your friends, not to get in an argument over the issues that are in there. Just ask yourself that question. How are they trying to scare me, and why do they want my vote? And you step back, and all of a sudden you realize the way they do it is you have to become dependent on them. That is the easiest way to keep your vote forever, is to get you addicted to the crack that is whatever program they can offer you. If you give me one more down, I'm going to play that game. And even if you're a better team than me, I'm going to beat you. And I am resolved to never be dependent on anybody else. And if you allow yourself to be dependent and you allow yourself to be bought, that's where you're going to end up. But that's what I have to say about that.
I love that analogy, and I'm going to try to give an NBA analogy to your NFL
Here we
analogy.
go.
Here it is.
The sports audience.
Like if I get 7 fouls?
Yeah. No, I think, well, to use the top 1%, the next 20, and then basically the bottom, you know, in the NBA, there's 20 guys that make $40 million a year. You got LeBron, you got KD, you got Steph, you got Giannis. These are the all-stars, okay? And then you've got the average NBA guy that makes, I don't know, $5-10 million a year. Not bad for a day's work.
Mid-level exemption.
Exactly. And then you got what is known as the veterans minimum, keyword minimum. And then you got guys like Udonis Haslem that literally don't play a minute. Okay, and it's the equivalent of Udonis, and respect to UD if you ever see this, because he's been in the league for 20 years. He's freaking my age, 42, still playing. But he doesn't play. And it's the equivalent of him saying, hey, I'm on the same team as Jimmy Butler. I played with LeBron. I want to make what he makes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, motherfucker. You ain't LeBron. Yeah. You're sitting on the bench expecting to make what the 1% make. So here's the message to like the Bernie Sanders and the AOCs out there. They're always trying to drive up the minimum wage, the equivalent of the veterans minimum. And I think our message is, rather than trying to fight for 12 or fight for 15 or then it'll be the fight for 20, it's like, why don't you, the bottom worker, improve your skill set? So, because in the average NBA career lasts 5 years, okay? The average worker is going to work 50 years. If you're always fighting for a higher minimum wage, what is your ceiling? It's just the minimum, whatever they're willing to shell out and give you. But if you actually put in the work and improve and become the LeBron or Steph of your field, the sky's the limit.
So, by the way, some people's argument to that would be, well, dude, I can't be 6'8", jump 45 inches, and run a 4.4 40. Can be LeBron.
But you
right?
can in the real world.
But wait a minute. But you can be Steph Curry. That's the point. Yeah. You can be Steph Curry. Okay? So to me, I fully agree. And by the way, some people are going to say, well, Pat, dude, I'm not as smart as Elon Musk. You're right. You'll never be Elon Musk. Totally get it. Okay, we can 99.99% of the world is never going to be Elon Musk. Okay, the percentage of being Elon Musk is a very, very small percentage. But this isn't about you being Elon Musk, but you can be, a Jack Richardson working at a place that started at the bottom and now is an executive C-suite running media, running finance, running something, chief of staff, making 200, making 220, and then boom, 5 years later, you got shares in a company. 10 years later, the company is sold. It goes public. You make $3.9 million on those shares. Like, how did I become a millionaire? I never thought I was going to be. You can be that. I think anybody can be that. Forget about the billionaire. Forget about the Hector guys. Forget about the Deca guys. Dude, you can pull that off. I lived in a community. The first time I started making money, and all of a sudden I'm living in a community, all I want to know about is, hey, how'd you make your money? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? Okay, small percentage, my family, I work really hard. And you find out from the other guy, no, that guy got his money from his family. Okay, cool. That was only 10% of people. But you know how many people worked at a company, and then all of a sudden the company went public? Hey, I worked at the company. I was there at the beginning. 18 years later, they went public. We sold. Dude, I got $1.9 million. I couldn't even believe. I'm a regular guy. I'm like, really? Wow. What did you do there? Dude, I wasn't even a director or a VP. I was just a manager, and I stayed there. One day they gave options. I'm like, why would I go anywhere else? Boom, anywhere else. I mean, those are the stories that are there. Those are they say the day Microsoft went public, the number is 5,000 millionaires. Can you look up Microsoft public? 5,000 millionaire stocks. Can you type that out? Some story. It's either Microsoft or Apple.
No, it was Microsoft. He's going to find it. And it was 32-year-old receptionist,
Regular guys.
a 7-year engineer that had been working 60 hours a week and busted his butt and was given some of those stock options.
If you got to put Microsoft, not $5,000.
How many millionaires did Microsoft create?
Yeah. So the point here is, both of you guys made great analogies. The point here is, for those that are defending the 4-day work week and remote and all of that shit, let me tell you what you're defending. Okay, I'm sorry, it was 12,000 employees. Okay, okay. It rose to dominate the personal computer operating system market with MS-DOS in the mid-'80s, followed by Windows. The company's 1986 initial public offering and subsequent rise in its shares created 3 billionaires and an estimated 12,000 millionaires from regular employees.
Jeez.
These are not crazy employees.
The people I was describing.
Yeah, these are the people that said, dude, I'm going to stay here. It's hard. I got to work my ass off. We're part of a startup. But you know what? These guys seem serious. These guys seem committed. Maybe something can happen. So you, if you're watching, then the opposite side is going to say, but I'm not part of something like that. But then open your damn eyes and find some. They're out there. You can find them. And then bring value to them. And say, I'm going to do whatever I can to bring value to this organization. And if they don't reward you, trust me, you're going to find somebody that's going to reward you. When a good guy or a good girl goes through a streak of 1 or 2 bad relationships, but this person's a good person, I'm like, let me just tell you, you're going to be fine, okay? You're going to be fine. Just tell the world what you're looking for, and the right person in the right climate, you're eventually going to find them, okay?
There you go.
Yeah.
You have to know, more people need to know what you're looking for. They'll eventually
You took the
find
words out of
somebody
my
for it.
mouth, Pat, because when I was saying, like, you have to find places that have the culture like a Valuetainment. You know what I mean? Like, you have to come and look for it. Me and Maverick were shooting a sketch in the other building months ago. I told you about this. Shamari, who works with us right now, walked in with a suit looking for, he's like, I want to work at this type of company. And you know what? I think it is too, Pat. It's like people got addicted to being lazy. Especially COVID didn't help. People were like, you know what? This is fun. I don't have to do anything. I stay at my house. And a habit, Pat, a normal habit creates itself in 4 days. If you do something for 4 days, you keep drinking, it's gonna keep going. You know what I mean? So you gotta break that habit.
You're gonna be lazy and reliant.
Yeah. And then like Mario hit, like last week, Pat, for my show, for the Vincent Oshana show, Mario's like, yeah, we all agreed we're coming in Saturday. And I'm normally, comedians and we're Monday through Friday. But if I felt like, holy shit, in here on a Saturday, and it pays off when you see the product of what you're doing on that extra day. You know what I mean?
You know what I do on Saturdays? I'll bring the kids to the office. And it becomes an opportunity for me to spend some time with them. And then I'll explain to them why I'm in the office. And say, hey, Daddy, why do we have to go to the office? I'll say, because if you want to have an edge over your competitors, you got to do things they don't want to do. And they're like, okay, that makes sense. So then I'll see Dylan stays practice. After 2-hour practice is over with, he's still for another hour. Dylan, can I ask you why you're staying for another hour? Daddy, if you want to have an edge over your competitors, you got to like, bingo,
Got him.
Bingo.
Got it.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.